Morning, Year 4. It's me, Mrs. Shaw again. This is lesson 2 of your reading skills for this week. And you can go ahead and write the short date and Vipers with the V circle, please. And then you can have a go at this question here. Okay, so it said circle the prefix or suffix, so similar to what we did yesterday, that can be added to all of the root words below. So today we've got all our root words here in blue, and you need to find one of these prefixes here, or the suffix, the one that goes at the end, which goes with all of them. It's not pair them up, it's one for every single one. So what I would do if I were you is just read them out loud. So you join a prefix with all of them and see if they all make sense. And if a couple of them sound funny, you know, like when you used to do phonics and there were those rubbish words that didn't make any sense, it's a bit like that. So if you, we'll start with less at the end. If we say obey less, that sounds weird straight away. Connect less or honest less. No, don't like that one at all. So disobey, disconnect, dishonest, they all sound pretty good, but we're going to check the last one. Misobey, misconnect, or mishonest. It could pass for it, couldn't it? Because it's only a one letter change. But if we know from our kind of previous vocabulary and what we've heard, then we know that it's dis. Okay, so it's a prefix, goes at the start of a word. Let's carry on. We're going to read pages 4 to 7 and we're going to answer the questions as we go along, a bit like we did yesterday, so you can pause for each question and then we'll move on to the next page. So this is day 2. Most of our menfolk are fishermen or work the tin mines with the knockers, but mining is seasonal work, so many miners turn their hands to other things when needs must. Then there are those amongst us who do not belong, the king's men. These are the redcoats, and the excisemen they support, who work for the exchequer. It is their job to make sure that everyone pays the duty, the tax on some of the cargo that comes in by the sea. They are about as welcome here as an eel down a trouser leg, especially as most of them are bullies and thieves, and keep for themselves some of what they supposedly rescue for the crown. There's a few bits to unpick here, and we are going to look at our language down the bottom. So it talks a bit about mining and knockers, so they're mythical creatures like pixies. But if we look at here, we've got redcoats and excisemen. So redcoats, they were soldiers that wore bright red uniforms. So imagine them in a bright red coat. And the whole idea of a uniform back then was to be seen, not to act as camouflage. So they needed to be seen, they wanted to be seen, so that people were aware they were there. And excisemen, the excisemen were in charge of customs and excise, so the taxes and tariffs people had to pay when importing certain goods. So if they brought something in, and it still happens today, you buy it in from France, you have to pay a tax on that, so that when you sell it and make a profit, you've paid the country that you've brought it into some money to be able to do that. So almost you can't make money without the government making money as well. And these people, those redcoats and the excisemen, all worked for the exchequer, and those were the where the funds went that were raised from those taxes. Okay, so you can do these first 2 questions. So question 1, find the word that means that the men didn't work in the same job all year round. So it's on this first page. A word that means that the men didn't work in the same job all year round. And question 2, find and write down the phrase which means the redcoats were not welcome. And I'll give you a clue, that is also on this page. All right, so have a pause of the video and have a go at those 2 questions. Okay, good. Let's carry on to the next page. So we've got an idea, really. Kitty is given her a bit of history on who works in the village. and about these people that you get the impression that she doesn't like. Okay, so my Uncle Jonah explains it this way. What should happen to, say, brandy when it's brought into the country is that the price of the brandy and the price of transporting should be added together, and then a little added on top for the man who sells it to earn his living. No one can argue with that. That's only fair. But no, rich men and governments like to tax happiness to make it harder for poor men to be as happy as they are. So items which makes people happy, such as that brandy or silks or sotweed, aren't sold that way. No, the government charges a duty, a tax on top when it comes into the country. So the exchequer's purse gets fuller than a glutton's corporation at the expense of the working man. My uncle's right. 'Tis a proper disgrace, especially when duty is even charged on salt, which we all need to eat to stay alive. These taxes are all called customs and collected at the customs houses at the ports and harbours. But it's a most unfair custom, if you ask me. And to top it all, there's another tax called excises, collected to pay towards some war or other, long forgot or yet to come. Okay, good. So we're going to have a look at this down here. So it basically, we said sotweed is tobacco that is smoked in this pipe here. And it says it's a slang term. And Kitty uses a lot of slang in this diary. It also said a gluttonous person is a greedy eater, and their corporation is a big fat tummy. So the exchequer's purse gets fuller than a greedy person's tummy. And here it says, this is an interesting one, and I actually learn things from this book each time I read it, is that the word salary comes from the Latin word for salt, because Roman soldiers received some of their pay in salt because it was so vital, so it was very valuable. But there is a tax on it. So have a look. I'll try and leave everything uncovered. So you need to find, for question 3, another word or a synonym, something that means the same thing, which means tax. And then I think, where did I find that question? Okay, so that both of these are on this page. Just have to scan through and check where I'd put it. Okay, and question 4, find the phrase on this page which gives the impression that Kitty wasn't happy about the taxes. So find something, bear in mind that the uncle's words are in italics, so this is all his speech here, but the normal text is Kitty's speech, if you like, what she's saying in her diary. So it's something that Kitty says or thinks about it. So a synonym which means tax over here somewhere, and a phrase that gives the impression that Kitty wasn't happy about those taxes. Have a go, and then on the next page we're going to look at the answers. Okay, good. Let's have a look. So, question 1, find the word that means that the men didn't work in the same job all year round. It was seasonal. A lot of jobs in Cornwall and touristy places are seasonal. So it's still the case today, but in a different way. Question 2, find and write down the phrase which means the redcoats were not welcome. And it's a good one. They are about as welcome here as an eel down a trouser leg. So we've got simile there. And number 3, find another word or synonym which means tax, and it's duty, which was just here. The government charges a duty, a tax. So it actually describes it in both ways for you. And then number 4, find the phrase on this page which gives the impression that Kitty wasn't happy about the taxes. She says, "'Tis a proper disgrace." So well done if you got those. Good reading work. Right. And I've put on the plenary that you have got a lot of the pages that contain these mini glossaries at the bottom. And I went through these, but those are the meanings again. So the word salt, and then we've got the description of that. So you can have a reread of those now if you like. I'll leave you to do that, and I will see you tomorrow for lesson 3. Have a great day, everyone.